Educators Inquiring About the World, Assessment 2, presentation by Courtney Hall. This project will be looking at cultural equality and sustainability for Indigenous students in the Australian education system. In light of the recent and ongoing Black Lives Matter movement, focus needs to be implemented on eradicating our society's underlying racism. Indigenous students, along with their beliefs and values, need to be recognised, respected and integrated successfully into the education system. To bring cultural equality and sustainability and to address the economic impact low Indigenous education rates create, we need to focus on future generations and support them to achieve educational success, in turn helping to close the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australia. Currently, the Australian education system favours non-Indigenous students to achieve academic success, whilst often marginalising its Indigenous students through a lack of acknowledgement of traditional knowledge, teachings and culture. This has a significant impact on Indigenous communities and the Australian society as a whole. So, what does equality and cultural sustainability look like for Indigenous students? What factors contribute to low Indigenous student retention rates? These are just some of the questions that need to be answered during this inquiry. Two of the most interesting findings that I have found so far is that the National Indigenous Reform Agreement is on track to halve the educational gap between non-Indigenous and Indigenous students by the end of the year, and that Indigenous Australians who hold a bachelor's degree have the same employment rate as non-Indigenous Australians. To be successful in researching this topic, I've found that I need to be quite specific with my keywords and phrases. I also have to be aware of publication dates to ensure my government websites such as the Australian Institute of Health and Wellbeing and the Australian Bureau of Statistics have been really helpful as they are content rich with plenty of data statistics in relation to Indigenous communities. The topic of Indigenous equality and cultural sustainability is relevant to Years 4, 5 and 6 Humanities and Social Science curriculum, whilst also addressing the cross-curriculum priorities of both Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and culture and sustainability. However, I believe that this inquiry, as a task, would be better suited to senior years of secondary school curriculum. This inquiry also has links to the New South Wales Department of Education Wellbeing Framework that encourages cognitive, physical, social, emotional and spiritual development. Thank you for watching my presentation.